makers of Raymond. Raymond, who was retired from the post as chief engineer for the FCC in nearby Washington, D.C., became a silent key on February 18th due to heart failure. Born in 1929, he was an active ham for much of his life. His basement radio room served as his main contest station, and he was a top performer in many major contests. He is listed on the DXCC Honor Roll and was a member of the National Capital DX Association and the Potomac Valley Radio Club. This is Jim Dameron in a TMW.
If you want to know who's really looking forward to Hamvention this year, consider this list of amateurs who will be coming to Dayton to receive some awards. Paul Brown, WD9 GCO, has the details. Hamvention has announced this year's award recipients. I spoke with Awards Committee Chair Michael Coulter, WHCI, about them.
First is the Special Achievement winner with Dr. Jason McDonald, N2TPA, and he's just been absolutely instrumental in promoting international friendship and community through amateur radio by forming scouting clubs in Canada, Philippines, Florida. Right now, there are more than 500 youth in these clubs that have been licensed and on the air. This year's Technical Achievement Award goes to Dr. James Breakall, and his work has been so instrumental in amateur radio antenna technology development for decades. He's teamed with many experts in the field to develop state-of-the-art advancements with a wide range of applications, including the numerical electromagnetic code, NEC. Amateur of the Year goes to Carson Gower, DM9 Echo Echo. He's been active in European amateur radio through WRTC and Yoda for 30 years, but more recently, he has spearheaded a group called the DM9 EE Helping Hands, a movement to provide amateur radio equipment to war-torn Ukraine by collecting donations and delivering them personally to communities in Ukraine.
Amateur Radio Club of the Year goes to the Delaware Valley Radio Association, formed in 1930 to serve the Trenton, New Jersey metropolitan area. To read more, visit Hamvention's website, hamvention.org. Congratulations to the winners from all of us at Amateur Radio Newsline. I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO. Congratulations to Ambarish Nag Biswas, BU2JFA, Secretary of the West Bengal Radio Club in India, who were Newsline's International Newsmaker of the Year for 2019 and 2022. At a recent ceremony in Kolkata, he was given the Anana Salmon Award from the Z News, a Hindi broadcast channel that is part of one of India's largest media companies. He told Newsline this was a special honor for him as the first amateur radio recipient. The award is in recognition of the club's life-saving work during cyclones, the pandemic, and in other areas of public concern. Newsline joins him in celebrating this achievement. We remind our listeners that young hams who live in the continental United States have an opportunity to make news even if they aren't already doing so by being a recipient of this year's Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award. Consider nominating an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger, someone who has talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio. Find application forms on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. Nominations are now open and close on May 31st. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WA7ABU repeater in Willamette Valley, Oregon on Saturdays at 6 p.m. local time. The theme of World Amateur Radio Day this year is a recognition of the vital role ham radio has played in a number of world crises. John Williams, VK4 JJW, tells us what's planned.
In an unprecedented partnership, the International Amateur Radio Union is being joined by the United Nations Trust Fund for Human Security and the World Academy of Art and Science to mark World Amateur Radio Day on the 18th of April. The organisations have declared the theme of the day to be Human Security for All, or HS4A. The theme arises out of the partners' shared belief that hams have a unique means to fulfill the United Nations mission of providing human security for individuals around the world. The campaign the partnering groups have launched together honours ham radio's proven track record in responding to natural disasters, the pandemic, climate change, and even armed conflicts, the many things that undermine individual security without regard to national boundaries. This important concept was declared a priority by the United Nations in 1994. Ham radio gains its advantage as a responder by providing technical knowledge, practical skills, and backup systems that provide a security net in times of crisis. The IARU, which has membership societies in more than 150 nations around the world, made the announcement on its webpage for Region 1. A two-week event will be held on the air from April 11th through to the 25th, highlighting the HS4A campaign for World Amateur Radio Day. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Operating portable in the park just gained a little more of a competitive edge. Dave Parks, WB8 ODF, explains.
A new activity being introduced this June by the Parks on the Air organizers is going to be different from the casual, portable outdoor operating experience activators and hunters enjoy. This is a contest. For 48 hours, hams will collect contacts and points as part of the new Parks on the Air plaque event, which is intended to become an annual competition. In a YouTube interview with Kevin Thomas, W1DED, POTA President Jason Johnston, W3AAX, explained the different categories available to both hunters and activators, and explained that anyone who made their first POTA contact after June 2nd, 2022 is eligible for the additional category of rookie. Participants must be registered with POTA and can use CW, SSP, and the digital modes. Hams will not be permitted to use the WARC bands. As for multipliers, there are none. This keeps the playing field level so that everything, even multiple reference areas, will be worth a single point. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
The contest will be held on HF, VHF, UHF, and SHF. For a look at the rules and other details for the event, see the link in the text version of this week's Newsline report at arnewsline.org. One of the oldest nets held among radio amateurs in India has begun a live stream. Jim Meachin, ZL2 BHF, has those details.
The origins of the Belgaum Humble net predate the internet by several decades, when a group of young shortwave enthusiasts in the city of Belgaum would get together to study for their ASOC examination in the physics lab of a local college where PAL VU2PAL was a professor. By 1973, the group, now licensed hams, had grown. In 1973, they formed the Hamble Amateur Radio Club. By 1988, the hams had agreed to have regular scheduled QSOs with one another on 7.052.5 MHz. And little by little, the on-air circle of friends grew to include those living outside the immediate area. The net was formally launched by Professor Powell in November 1989. He moved it to 7.050 MHz and gave it a name, the Hamble Belgaum Net. He was also its first and most active net control. According to the club's website, by the time he became a silent key in 2016, he had logged tens of thousands of QSOs via the net alone. The group's well-established 40-meter net tradition continues today from 7 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. Indian Standard Time. But the world has recently begun listening in. The net now uses YouTube to live stream its check-ins with net controllers Bearbu, VU2PNU, Omprakash, VU2KOC, Joshi, VU2BRJ, and Yasin, VU3PMY. You can listen too. See the link to one of the more recent nets in the text version of this week's script at arnewsline.org. This is Jim Meachin, ZL2 BHF.
In the world of DX, Phil VA3QR is operating from Panama throughout March using various call signs depending upon his location. Those call signs include HP1/VA3QR, HP3/VA3QR, and HP8/VA3QR. He will be using sideband in the digital modes, QSL to his home call. Listen for Matt, ZL4NVW, who will be activating several SOTA summits on Secretary Island off the Fiordland coast from the 7th to the 13th of March. He will be on 40 meters through 10 meters, sideband only. Secretary Island uses the IOTA designation OC-203 for the South Coastal Islands of New Zealand. QSL to his home call. Listen for Robert, OK2PYA, operating as EA6/OK2PYA from various worldwide flora and fauna areas on Majorca in the Balearic Islands, IOTA EU004, until the 7th of March. He is using CW on 40 through 10 meters, QSL via Club Logs, OQRS, and Logbook of the World. For our final story, we visit with a SOTA activator who is recovering from serious injuries after a fall on a summit. While he is healing, he plans to active a campaign of gratitude for his rescuers. Here's Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, with that story.
It was just a few weeks ago that Alan, 2E0JWA, had hopes of scoring 4 points plus a 3-point winter bonus for activating the largest summit in his immediate area, G/SB001 Kinder Scout, in the Peak District National Park. His goal on that day in January came crashing down with him when he fell on a piece of black ice on the well-marked summit path, shattering his left leg. He expects that after 2 surgeries, he'll be back on his feet by mid-May, perhaps even back on the air for a summit by summer. As he tells colleagues on the SOTA Reflector, however, he might not be making those plans at all were it not for the kind souls who first rushed to his aid on the trail to stabilize him, and then for the welcome arrival of the volunteer team he describes in his blog as Angels in Red Coats, the Glossop Mountain Rescue Team. It was a complicated rescue, but they moved him safely off the hill just as snow showers were threatening to arrive. Alan is now asking others on the SOTA Reflector and the ham community to help inspire some kind of special event or thank you gesture for helping to keep this SOTA activator alive. To Alan, the winter bonus for that summit truly belongs to the Angels in Red Coats. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Do you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in? We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or Field Day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. With thanks to BreakingDefense.com, CQ Magazine, David B.R. K7DB, Donald D. Riggs, J88CD, DXWorld.net, FCC, 425DX News, HambellNet, HamSci, Parks on the Air, Radio World SOTA Reflector, the 2E0JWA blog, shortwaveradio.de, Washington Post, YouTube, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. We also wish a happy 21st anniversary to the Summits on the Air Award Scheme, created March 2nd, 2022. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9VPG in Union, Kentucky, saying 7-3, and as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.
Radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday night UHF VHF net. My name is Pat. My call sign is November 8, Oscar Quebec Papa. But for the purposes of this net, we'll be using the club call of Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open and directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You don't have to be a club member, and all traffic will go through net control. And since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please try to leave a little bit of a pause between transmissions so that this type of traffic can get in here.
W8VPV.
The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, and to enhance net operating practices. And during the times of social isolation that we used to have, pretty much just to keep everybody up to speed on club happenings. This net meets every Monday night at 8:30 p.m., usually followed by Newsline, or usually preceded by Newsline, I should say. And that Newsline usually runs at 8:01. Start with the announcements, and then I ask for check-ins from any club officer or member with any announcements for general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take check-ins, call sign only, 5 at a time. I'll take 1 at a time. You'll give me your call sign. I will echo it back and move on to the next one. Once we get to 5, I'll go back to the top and we'll go through for comments. A regular participant, I'll likely know your call sign and know your name. If I don't know you, I'll ask for your location and call sign again at any part that I didn't catch, and your name. All check-ins have been worked. I will close the net after repeating the announcements. We also run an HF Band Explorer net. Tonight's net will be on 50.270 upper sideband. That will be on 6 meters. For the announcements, I don't really have anything that, other than the club meeting coming up this Wednesday. I will be there. As far as I know, we are going to not really do much of a business meeting as much as we're going to do a continuation of Frank's presentation for a month or so ago. That will be on the where the repeater and everything like that is headed as far as what we should do with a repeater in the future. So it should be an interesting discussion. If you can, try to make it. If not, it'll be on Zoom, as all our meetings are. You can find the Zoom link on our website at cfarc.org. That's all the announcements that I've got at this time, unless somebody comes up and tells me different. Let's go ahead and take check-ins from officers or anybody with pertinent announcements for the club. If you'd like to check in for either one of those, please call now.
Whiskey 8 Echo Zulu Tango.
W8EZT. Good evening, Frank. Hang in there a second. Anybody else have announcements?
88VYT.
88VYT. Okay, Russ. Anybody else?
W3XLS, Frank covers it.
W3X. Anybody else?
WA3JAT. Again, I'm not sure. It may be covered by the other people ahead of me.
Okay, we'll see what happens here. I don't suppose there's anybody else that wants. Okay, let's go back to W8EZT. Good evening, Frank. What's going on, sir?
Good evening, Pat, everybody out there. Just wanted to clarify and reemphasize that, yes, this Wednesday, I guess after the business meeting, we're going to pick up where we left off last time. Last time we kind of gave everybody a history and a summary of what the repeater is today. Starting this week, and for the next probably couple of meetings, we want to explore possibilities of what we can do to improve it, what functionality we can add. This is where we really want to hear from the club members. What do you want to see this repeater doing? and even new repeaters. If we put new repeaters in, maybe we want digital modes, what modes do you operate? So come prepared with some ideas about what you'd like to see our repeater system doing in the next couple of years. We hope to reach kind of a final decision and start into things maybe next July or something. So this is the time to help guide us and tell us what you want to see. That's all I've got, Pat. We'll see everybody Wednesday. Back to net, WADCT.
Okay, Frank. Thank you for I've already checked you in, so if you want to recheck later, you can. Next up is Ross, KD8BYT. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to let everybody know I've been getting a lot of questions about the bus trip, like I did last year, and due to the unavailability of transportation, meaning all the bus lines are booked up, we are not going to have the bus trip this year. We are not having the bus trip this year. Next year I'll jump on it a little earlier, and we'll try it again. I did manage to get a 25-passenger bus or whatever, coach or whatever, but it had no place to store your stuff underneath, and the seats didn't look very comfortable, so I'm just not going to do it this year. May drive down there myself, I don't know. Anyway, this is KD8VYT. Everybody have a good evening. And other than that, I'll be in and out.
All right, thanks, Russ. It's a shame about the bus trip. I had heard that there was one, but maybe that was before you found out all the information. Appreciate the info, and thanks for at least trying. But also, thank you for running Newsline for us. Appreciate the dedication there. WO3X. Good evening, John. What's up, sir?
Good evening, Pat, and all on the net. This is WO3X. Well, it's time for us to start making plans for volunteering for the Hamfest. So the volunteer sign-up sheet is all set up now. So you go to www.cfarc.org, and that takes us to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club homepage. Up the top is it says Hamfest information. You click on that, and it takes you to the Hamfest page. You scroll down, and watching along the left side there is a printable Hamfest flyer, and then a bar that says sign up form to help at Hamfest. Okay, so you click on that, and there's a page where you put your last name, first name, call sign, and email address. Then you click on next, and then there's it says which day and times will you be available to help. And so there are 5 choices there, and so you select the one that that you're available for, and then there's some details for what you want to do on those days. So where we need the most actually is early Saturday. We usually get enough people for the Friday evening table and chair setup, but sign up for that anyhow if you're planning to do that, and then consider early Saturday volunteering. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
W8.
Okay, John, I've got that down in the notes. I'll make the announcement at the end of the net again. I do appreciate that, and hopefully we can get enough volunteers. I know one guy from Maslin that said he'd be up to help, so I'll get him to sign up there too. Lastly, with the announcements, so we have WA3JAT. Good evening, Jim. What's going on with you, sir?
W8VPV and the group WA3JAT. We covered quite a few things. A couple more things to add. Of course, Frank's continuation of his presentation is very important to the club, and I hope as many members as possible will join either in person or on Zoom. Then later this month, our next activity meeting at the end of the month will be 10 meters for everyone, and Anthony, K8ZT, will be giving that presentation. And I can tell you 10 meters has been hopping. If you haven't been using it, don't wait for Anthony's talk even. You need to tune into that band because it's been alive with DX. Lastly, I do want to mention we do also have speakers set up for our activity meeting in April, and that will be Morgan Lyons, KI5SXY, affectionately known as the Rocket Girl, who is going to give a presentation on Zoom to us from Texas, and that will be on rockets and ham radio. She is an aerospace engineering student. She's the president of her university club and does a lot of experimenting with rockets. So those additional announcements I wanted to add, and back to you, Pat, at the control, W8VPV, WA3JAT.
Okay, Jim, thanks for that. And I've got the notes written down. I didn't quite catch the Rocket Girl thing, but I'll make mention of it at the end of the net anyway. That brings us to the bottom of the list. Let's open things up for general check-ins now. If you'd like to check into our net, please call W8PPV one at a time, please.
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar.
AC8XO. Gotcha, Vince. Next, please. Gotcha, Mike. CXO Mike. Next, please.
W8DIS.
Okay, Bill, got you. I take it you're in tonight?
Just a couple comments.
Okay, sir, thank you. And two more.
W03X with a quick recheck.
Okay, hang on, John. Do you mind if I put you on the line, or do you want to go now?
I want to do it now, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to thank Frank for putting the article in the newsletter for volunteers for the Hamfest. Back to the net, this is W03X.
John, thanks for letting us know that, and we do appreciate everything both you and Frank do for the club. Wouldn't be much here without you. We need two more check-ins. Anybody else? Still looking for check-ins. If you want to check in with our net, please call now.
KPU.
KPU, gotcha, Larry. RRY. One more, please.
Kilo Echo 8, Whiskey Golf Delta.
Traffic for the net.
Okay, I got a Kilo Echo 8, Whiskey Golf Delta. Name, sir?
Greg from Cuyahoga Falls.
That was Greg?
Yes.
Okay, Greg, we'll be right back to you. And there was another one that doubled with Greg there. You want to try it again?
November 8, Uniform Kilo Mike, and no traffic for the net. Good evening, Pat.
Chris, good to hear you. And hopefully we'll get a chance to chat sometime. UKM Chris, in and out. Okay. All right, let's take this back to the top here. AC8XO. Good evening, Vince. What's going on?
Good evening, Pat, and everyone on the net. Obviously, everyone should know by now the newsletter is out. That's about all I have going on here. It's a quiet day here in Silver Lake. nothing much exciting going on. So anyway, one for the numbers as it were. This is Vince, AC8XO, back to net.
Okay, Vince, thank you, sir. And as always, thanks for putting the newsletter together for us. I know what a tidy chore that can be, and you do a really nice job with it. So good to hear you, and thanks again. W8CXO, good evening, Mike. What's happening, sir? Appreciated, Mike. Much appreciated, and thanks for streaming this for us. And never know who it might encourage to go get their license. W8DIS is next. Mr. Bill, what's up?
Hello, Pat, and everybody out there. Believe me, it's great to be on the air. Last week was extremely busy week at my house. My whole house smells like a hospital. My daughter and I both went through some medical procedures, and this week is recovery time. So just wanted to get on the air and say hey. Other than that, nothing really. Just hope everybody's doing well. This is W8DIS. Back to you, Pat.
Appreciate it, Bill. Hope you're doing well. I hope everything went well as far as procedures, and hopefully we'll see you at a meeting sooner or later.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to drive for a while yet, but I'll try to zoom into the meeting Wednesday, and we'll see how it goes. W8DIS.
Hey, Bill, appreciate it. Let's move into Mr. KAPU. I think he's next. At least that's what I've written down on a paper, but who knows? What's up, Larry?
Everybody on the net this fine spring evening. Looks like we're going back to a little bit of winter weather this coming week, so I was enjoying what we had. I'd just as soon take February back again, I guess. Nothing new and exciting, Pat. Thank Vince there for a good job on the newsletter. Throw that in every once in a while because we just got done looking at it a couple months ago, and like always, he put together a nice publication, I guess you could call it. Heard other people from other clubs mention that we have a pretty nice newsletter anyways. And beyond that, I'll look at you guys on 6 meters, I guess, after a bit. So, and of course, Wednesday night at the meeting. So back to you, Pat. W8VPV, KPO.
Okay, Larry. We will probably likely see you on 6. I'm planning on being over there for at least a little while. We'll see what happens. I did want to make mention, anybody that was on that contest this last weekend, could you believe how grand that 10-meter band was? Good grief, was that thing open. But I haven't heard it that good since right after I got my general ticket. That would have been 2007. So come a long way, baby. Anyway, let's I got one more here, and then we got to start taking some more check-ins. K8 Whiskey Golf Delta. Greg, good evening, sir.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. Mostly just wanted to say hi to everybody. Looking forward to being at the meeting Wednesday, and was really impressed with the presentation by Greg about the radio telescope. I zoomed into that. I think I'm only short a satellite dish now from starting to take some observations. So appreciate that, and I look forward to more interesting presentations like that in the future. Again, hope to see everybody Wednesday. Kilo Echo 8 Whiskey Golf Delta, back to net control.
So we'll hopefully see you there. I'm planning on it. You never know with the way life leads, but we'll see what happens. I'm pretty much planning on being there. With that, well, let's go ahead and move into the next round of check-ins. If you'd like to check into our net and give us a little info on that you're there, please call BPV.
KHMS.
KHMS. Good evening, Steve. Hang in there. Steve. Next check-in, please.
AB8OU.
AB8OU. Good evening, Zeke. Hang in there. And next, please. I can hear somebody in there that's barely making a machine, but I couldn't hear a word you said. Okay, let's move on here. If you'd like to check in, that other person, if you can move to a different place or higher power us or something, hopefully you can check in that way. Or you can hit the 440.850 machine and see if you can get in there. But, couldn't pull you out. If you'd like to check into our net, please call W8PPV.
AA8 WTK. In and out, Pat. Thank you.
AA8 WTK. In and out, Bill? What's up with that? Well, we'll mark you that way. Okay. Anybody else?
KE8 KVI. In and out.
KE8 KVI. In and out. Good evening, Ron, and thanks for checking in. We'll mark you in and out. All right, let's just go back to the top so we don't keep these people waiting. Next one up, I believe, is Steve, KHMS. Good evening, sir. What's up?
Yeah, WAVPV in the net, KHMS here on the full 40 side. Yeah, good evening, Pat. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for running the net. Pat, hope you're hanging in there with your little stuff you've had going on with you. Hope you're getting better. And doing okay here. Nothing exciting. Just doing a little operating over the weekend, and you know, with the DX contest. And yeah, I'll tell you, Pat, boy, there's when you said about 10 meters, I can think back, you know, doing this crazy radio stuff for 65 years. There's been a bunch of years in there where 10 meters was just unbelievable. So anyway, yep, glad to hear the band's coming back. It's did a lot on 10, 15, and 20. So yeah, what frequency are we on? I think it's at 6 meters for the 930 net. WAVPV KHMS.
That'll be on 50.270 upper side.
Okie dokie, see you there, or who's ever running it.
More than likely will. Have a good evening, Steve. Thanks. AB8OU, good evening, Zeke. How you doing?
AB8OU, good evening, Pat and everyone. I operated the DX sideband contest over the weekend. And, well, 10 was busy. I didn't think it was overcrowded. 20 meters was a lot more crowded. Of course, 10 meters was better than usual, but I don't have a good antenna for 10 meters. It's down in a hole, so it doesn't do too good on DX. Anyway, back to you, Pat, AB8OU.
Yeah, Zeke, I was pretty impressed with 10. That's one of the main bands that I listen to on a regular basis. I usually float somewhere between 40 and 10. So I was pretty impressed with the activity that was there. anyway, thanks for the check-in, and we will go ahead and move things on here. We've got KVI, which was an in and out, and WTK, which was in and out. That brings us to the bottom of the list. Let's see if we can get a few more here. If you'd like to check into our net, please call WAPPV.
K8ZT.
K8ZT. Good evening, Anthony. Since we're not getting very many, why don't you just go ahead and what you got going for us tonight?
Good evening, everyone. You should have received an email this afternoon talking about the upcoming meeting and a link to the new newsletter. If you are a club member and did not receive that email, please let me know, and I'll make sure that you're on the emailing list. Just to double what Zeke said there, 10 meters was really hot during the contest, and it worked a lot of DX. Not quite as much as I did during the CW contest because I wasn't on as long this time, but a lot of good stations. So if you're not on, don't wait for my presentation in March, and I have a link in the email that went out today that has the link to the slideshow, so you don't have to wait. You can go through the slideshow on your own if you want to. This is K8ZT.
Hey, Anthony. Yeah, I actually was in Saturday morning just tuning around to see how busy it was. I actually made a call with her. I hit the Cayman Islands from here. That wasn't too bad. I was kind of impressed for the most part. So anyway, let's see if there's any more check-ins out here. If you'd like to check in with us, please call WPPV now.
KE8ULA, Jim from Stowe.
KE8ULA, Jim, what you got for us tonight?
Yeah, hi Pat and the net. Not much going on here tonight. My mom took a fall last week, ended up in the hospital, so I spent my weekend in the hospital pretty much. I thought I'd try the 440 side of the repeater tonight. I never did that before. So I'm on my HT here, 5 watt. I have an external antenna. It's a Diamond SG7900 on the roof of my pergola. It's a mag mount, and just thought I'd give it a try and see if I got my radio programmed correctly and see what kind of signal I can get out there to you guys. Looking forward to the meeting Wednesday. I'm going to zoom into that. So with that, back to the net. KE8ULA.
Jim, you sound great there. No white noise or anything behind you, and you're 100% into the machine. Sound good. Hope to see you Wednesday night and on Zoom. Have a good one, and we'll move things on. Anybody else want to check in? Please call WPPV.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Alpha 8, Bravo, Sugar Alpha.
Kilo Alpha 8, Bravo, Sugar Alpha. Nah, he sold his radios. Who is this really?
Formerly known as Kilo Alpha 8, Tango Kilo Echo.
You got me confused. You, Keith. Who was that last call? I must have mistook you. K8BSA, are you there or not?
I'm here, Pat. I accidentally changed the radio down to simplex. I didn't realize it. KA8BSA.
Good evening. evening. I thought you sold your radios.
No. Just haven't made the time for it. I'm trying to do that now, especially since September's coming up. Oh, WPX is coming up too. I want to get in on that.
A whole lot of stuff coming up here in the near future. Hamfest, the Boy Scout stuff, and everything else. It's going to be a pretty active year once we get there.
Speaking of the Boy Scout stuff, for the 100th anniversary, we are able to get into the Camp Ham Shack and have that pavilion.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's a little bit of good news. Dave Wyrick sent me an email. He goes, "Do you want it?" I said, "Yeah."
Oh, heck yeah.
Eventually, Anthony and I are going to try to make some time and go out there. And so...
I think you disappeared again, Keith. Okay, we're going to give this one more shot. Are you there, Keith? Okay, let's double back to him. Is there any more check-ins? Anybody else want to check in before we start to wrap this up? Please call WPVV.
Kilo 8, Papa, Juliet Whiskey, Philippine Twinsburg.
Okay, well, that was K8, Hotel Juliet Whiskey. Am I correct there?
That was close. It's Kilo 8, Papa, Juliet Whiskey, Philippine Twinsburg.
It's Papa Juliet Whiskey, correct?
Affirmative.
What's the name, sir?
Name here is Philip, Papa, Hotel, India, Lima, India, Papa. QTH is Twinsburg.
Okay, Philip, good to hear you this evening. What you got for us?
So it's been a little while since I've joined this net. I've been able to listen to it, but I finally have a setup I think that'll work. Sounds like I'm getting in pretty well. Enjoyed the weekend in Southwest Pennsylvania. It's beautiful out there, even though it's hot and cold, but still a lot of fun. So I'm doing a lot of digging into WinLink pretty well right now, so that's an interesting operation there. I'm joining some nets and that kind of stuff. So anyway, just wanted to wave a hand and catch up on the information with your club. So it's been all good. TJW back to the net.
Hey, Philip, good to hear you, sir. I'm glad you got everything working again. You had a little bit of white noise behind you, but I understood everything you said. Not a issue at all. I appreciate the check-in.
Recheck.
Well, you found the frequency again, huh?
This time I pulled the radio off the table. I grabbed a mobile radio and working in the kitchen here, and the microphone's not that long. Pulled it right off the table.
Okay, the last we heard from you, you said Anthony and you were going to go out there?
Yeah, that's correct. Me and Anthony is going to try to make some time to go out there, look at the shack. There is a tri-band beam up there. There's a HF mobile radio and a VHF mobile radio. At one point there was RG5 something out there for long wire, and see what we can get going. Oh, and the repeater's in the same building too for the camp, the WD8BSA repeater.
Cool. That would be a good thing when you've got the scouts out there to actually let them look at as they're participating in the event.
Well, we need to sit down and iron that all out, what we're going to do and such. September's coming up. Probably get here before we know it. That's the 23rd September or somewhere around in there. Don't remember the date off the top of my head.
It seems like it's somewhere in there. There'll be more coming, I would imagine. More information coming as we get closer.
I think so. Well, I'm going to get back to kitchen duty here. Trying not to pull the radio off the table again.
Don't get your apron too wet. Okay, Keith. Have a good evening, sir, and thanks for checking in with us tonight. Anybody else want to check in? Please call W8PPV.
N8RKA.
N8RKA. Good evening, Art. How are you, sir?
Fine there, old man. How are you doing?
Good enough for all here.
Just living day by day. Yeah, I understand exactly what Bill was saying when he's talking about recovering from a hospital stage. Oh yeah, I can definitely understand that part of it.
He's not alone. Right, what you got for us tonight, anything?
That little thing that you and I talked about has been taken care of.
Okay, no problem.
And when I hear something, I'll let you know.
Okay, appreciate that.
No problem, that's $20. For your response.
Oh, for the response, okay, right. Remember, this is amateur radio.
Well, you might be an amateur, but I'm going to say I'm a professional. When you was talking about 10 meters being open, when I got my Tech Plus license back in December of 1998, the first contest I worked on 10 meters was the ARRL 10 meter contest. I worked all 50 states in one weekend.
That's pretty good.
Like I told you, Pat, I'm a professional.
We won't say professional what.
Okay. Be nice now.
All right. I need to move this net on, Artie. What is that all you got?
We'll let you get back to I'll let you get back to playing amateur radio.
Oh, thank you.
Time.
Recheck.
Recheck there, go ahead.
Yeah, Kate HMS here. Just wondering, with Artie saying about worked all 50 states in one weekend, I remember years ago I heard that he had to send Steve Larichny to West Virginia so he could work West Virginia. So I'm just wondering about that comment he made.
I did, because West Virginia was the last card I got. It took a while because I don't think they know how to read and write.
Okay, Artie, I had to throw something in there.
Understand. All right, N8RKA, we'll let you get back to playing net control, Pat.
Gee, I still appreciate that, Artie. Hopefully catch you Wednesday night. If nothing else, Zoom in with us. Have a good one. Anybody else want to check in before we wrap this up tonight? Please call W8PPA.
This Kilo 8 Bravo India. Bill in Cuyahoga Falls. You can mark me in and out, Pat. Thanks.
Just now turned the radio on. I was watching some news. So, one for the numbers, Pat.
Okay, I got Bill. Was that you, Buck?
Yes, Pat, it was. I'm a master of bad timing. I'm always doubling with somebody. I just now turned the radio on just to catch the end of it here. I was watching some news and almost missed it altogether, but I'll give you one more for the numbers.
Okay, got you down here. Thank you, sir. And anybody else want to check in before we wrap it up? Okay, hearing nothing, I'm going to go ahead and reread the announcements first. We've got a list on the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's webpage, cfarc.org, that is a volunteer sign-up for the Hamfest. We can use a lot of people, especially Saturday morning, to help us put this thing together. We actually need help for Friday night and Saturday both, but for the most part, we'll get it all covered. There will be no Dayton bus by K8VYT anyway. He just couldn't get it arranged this year. And also I have Anthony's event coming up this 22nd of March, which will be 10 meters for everybody. He'll be doing a presentation for the club. It'll be on Zoom and it'll also be live. We do meet at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ on 130 Broad Boulevard for anybody that would like to attend that. With that, I think that's all the announcements I've got. We'll open it for one more round of check-ins. If there's not any, then we'll go ahead and wrap this up for the night. If you'd like to check in, please call W8VPV. Okay, that about wraps us up here. Now I gotta figure out where I'm at here on the page. In preparing to close this net, I'd like to thank everybody that took the time to check in with us, even though it may have only been for a couple of minutes, and taking the time to join us tonight. Without your participation, there would likely be no net, and we do appreciate anybody and everybody that's checked in. This has been N8OQP, Pat, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. I will go ahead and return the repeater now to normal and customary amateur use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:15 local time with, looks like 22 check-ins. Not too bad this evening. Have a good evening, folks, and hopefully catch you on 6 meters shortly. This is W8VPV with N8OQP in the net chair, and we're clear.
N8RQP, N8RKA.
Mosley. And chartreuse.
Okay, that'll work. N8RKA.
I expected a comment from you, Artie. Man, you're slipping. Hey, OQP clear.
That was a comment.
Say it wasn't what I expected.
Well, actually, what I want to say, I can't say it.
This is probably true. I need to get done before the next net, so I'll catch you. And it'll keep it.
And we'll chat with you later, Pat. N8RKA.
30, KHMS. N8RKA, KHMS.
KHMS, N8RKA.
Hey, yeah, real quick, Artie, I forgot what, which still is a sad thing. What did, and I know you worked there, what do they make there at the Ford plant up in, what was it, Bedford, Walton Hills, I guess.
I was there. We made the body sides for the van, fenders for the van, the doors for the van, all the doors for the van, the floor pan for the van. Mostly it was the van parts. Then we made some floor pans for some trucks, some roof for the trucks, and body size for the Ranger pickup, 6-foot and 7-foot floor pan for the Ranger pickup, and the front pan for the Ranger pickup for the beds, and cab corners for the regular cab, and frame rails and a couple other small miscellaneous parts.
W8VPV. Oh wow, that's unreal. Yeah, I guess more or less punch press stuff. Well, what happened to that? I mean, they shut that down, so who's making all that now?
I do not know. Well, for the van, we were doing the Econoline van. So, basically, I have no idea because from what I understand, a friend of mine that went to OHAP, where they do the vans, is, he said they're still making chassis. Where they do the cabin chassis, they're still doing that for, I don't know, he didn't say how long they were going to be doing that with the Econoline parts, but that's about the last part of it I've heard.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious. Yeah, you know, and whenever I go to the airport, I see, I guess it's the Ford engine plant up there that they tore down, but they're building something else up there now, a great big huge plant. I don't know if that's for Ford or not, but yeah. Okay, thanks. Just kind of sad to see a lot of that manufacturing going away and everything. So, all right. Thanks, buddy. Hang in there. N8RKA, KHMS.
All right, Steve, no problem. But I will say this: they did tear down the wrong stamping plant. Because when Henry Ford built his plants, he put the plants on where they would be the best for manufacturing. So, all right, we'll chat with you later, Steve. K8HMS, N8RKA 73.
All right, 73 RD, K8HMS.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night band exploration net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep us updated about club happenings. This band exploration net meets every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by the VHF UHF net at 8:30 and amateur radio newsline at 8:01. When checking in, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. Also let me know if you have any comments or traffic for the net, or if you are checking in and out. I will start with announcements and then call for officers or members who have pertinent information for the net. After that, I will take check-ins. When all have checked in, I will repeat the announcements. After that, I'll give one last call for check-ins and then close the net. Okay, we have quite a few announcements this week. This Wednesday, March 8th, is our business meeting, but we will mostly be having a presentation and a participation by W8EZT, Frank, about our repeaters. And so he will be asking for opinions about what we should improve on and add. And so that's going to be a fun time for all. Then on March 22nd, Anthony, K8ZT, is going to give a presentation about 10 meters for all. But like what we said on the VHF UHF net, don't wait for the presentation to get on 10 meters. It is really working well at this time due to the sunspot cycle. Let's see, on Saturday, March 18th, there'll be a volunteer exam session at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. You have to pre-register for that and make sure you have your FRN. To pre-register for that, go to www.cfarc.org, and let's see here. On the home page, click on Education, and then scroll down, and right in the middle of the page is a yellow highlighted blue writing that says register for a license exam. Again, you have to pre-register for that and make sure you have your FRN. Let's see, okay, again, that's Saturday, March 18th. Be there before 10:30 a.m. because the test starts at 10:30 a.m. at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. Then on April 12th is our business meeting, and we'll have probably some other discussion besides business at that. April 14th, that's Friday, in the evening is our Hamfest setup. We set up the tables and chairs. And then for the Hamfest, which is on Saturday. Okay, so regarding the Hamfest, if you go to www.cfarc and go to the up the top of the page it says Hamfest information. Click on that, and then you'll see Hamfest, and on the left side it has about it, the date and time and vendors, and scroll down till you see the purple sign-up form to help at Hamfest. Click on that and enter your last name, first name, call sign, email address, then click on next, and there is the sign-up choices. There's Friday evening, Saturday morning, various times, and then the activity for that time is in, there's numerous selections there. We need people to help set up the tables and chairs Friday evening, but we also need people early Saturday morning. So please sign up for that, and in order to make the Hamfest a success. Okay, then on April 26th is a presentation. It's going to be a Zoom presentation, but we'll be able to see it at the meeting site also. And it's going to be rocketry and ham radio. There's a young woman that is into using rockets for amateur radio, so that will be a really interesting presentation, so you don't want to miss that. Okay, so at this time, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins for those who have announcements. Go ahead. Please call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Time on this net here. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
WA3JAT.
WA3JAT. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, good evening. Thank you for making any of the announcements. I did have one other thing I wanted to mention. I'm not sure if Mike is on here, WB8CXO, but if he is, I wanted to thank him. He is the one, of course, that gave me the lead on our April speaker, AI8SXY, and I do appreciate that, and it is helpful when I get leads from people within the club, so again, thank you to Mike for that. That's all I have to add. Back to you, John, W8VPV, WA3JAT.
Okay, Jim, thanks for that information, and yeah, that was a really good lead there for a presentation, so that's going to be a lot of fun there. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
K8HMS.
K8HMS. Go ahead, Steve, with your comments.
Yeah, hi, John. WAVPV in the net, K8HMS. Yeah, coming in real good down here. Glad to hear somebody on 6 meters. I'm going to have to monitor 6 a little more. I, miss working people on 6. But anyway, other than that, not much going on. Just listening to the rain and rather have that than the snow, so I guess that's about it from the valley. Back to you, WAVPV, KHMS.
Okay, Steve. Yes, also on Sunday evenings on the N8XBK 6-meter repeater, we have a net. It runs about an hour at the most. And so, let's see, from your place, I'm not sure which. It has various inputs. It's 53.170 is the output, and then you transmit on 52.170 and use the PL tone for the input that you'd be most likely to be able to hit. There's one in Richfield, there's one in Medina, and then the other three or more are farther away. The Akron one has been moved to Columbiana County, so you won't be able to hit that one. Over?
Oh, okay. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I think I used to check into that net on Sunday night and just kind of forgot about it and got away from it. But yeah, I'll have to check into that. Thanks.
Yeah, the net control operators have gone down to just two of us. So I run it on the second and fourth Sundays, and Brian, KFAG, runs it on the first and third Sundays, and on a fifth Sunday, if there is one, which I think there is in May. So that's how that works. So thanks for checking in, 73, and maybe I'll hear you on Sunday there, starting at 7 o'clock. Okay, so this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Recheck.
Check-in November 8, Ocean Queen Papa.
Okay, I've got N8OQP, and I hear Jim has a recheck there. Go ahead, Jim, WA3JAT, with your recheck.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, there was a little mention of 6 meters. 10 meters, of course, has been wide open. Keep an eye on 6 meters, because I've already caught 2 openings on FT8 on 6 meters from sporadic E, which is earlier than we usually get them. And I've heard stations in South America, and I also heard a station in Hawaii already on 6 meters, and that's within the last week. So keep an eye on 6 meters as well as 10. There's going to be a lot of fun, I think, on 6 meters this year. W8VPV, WA3JAT.
Okay, Jim, you hear that, people? 6 meters is up also, as well as 10 meters. So go ahead and try to make contacts on 6 meters. Okay, thanks, Jim. Okay, Pat, N8OQP, go ahead with your comments.
Good evening, everybody. I figured I'd add to some of what you've been saying here. As far as 10-meter openings and that, Saturday afternoon when I hit the Cayman Islands, the SFI was at 169.170. I'm looking right now, and it says the SFI is at 188. So things just keep getting better and better. That's about all I got for tonight. I know everybody's heard my voice way too much on the other net, so I'll just go ahead and say that and get myself out.
Yeah, regarding 10 meters, on Saturday, my wife and I went to visit my wife's sister, and so I intended to do the Breeze Shooters 10-meter ground wave contest, which starts at 8 p.m. on Saturday and goes to 11 p.m. When I turned it on, I couldn't do ground wave because there were stations coming in from all over the world. That was 8 p.m. Saturday. Stations all over the world coming in. So I waited till about 9 o'clock, and that's when there were still some there down on the lower part. I operated at 28.480 megahertz, but they were still a lot of activity in around 28.350. So, and that was 9 o'clock. So, yeah, the 10 meters is doing great. Okay, thanks, Pat, for checking in. 73, and have a good evening. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. WB8CXO. Go ahead with your comments. Okay, Mike. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's going to be a fun presentation there. So, thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Evening, John. Please check in. Whiskey 8 Echo Zulu Tango.
W8EZT. Go ahead, Frank, with your comments.
Don't have a lot to add. You've covered it real good tonight. We're looking for volunteers to help in our Hamfest and everything. And there I even say you don't actually have to be a club member. If you're young and healthy and can move tables, we need you as a volunteer. We don't know how bad that's going to be yet, but it could be rough. So anyway, other than that, don't have a lot to add. I'll be talking Wednesday at the meeting about listening more than anything else about where club members want to go with our repeater, what modes we might want to use, how we might want to connect them, options to look at, and we'll have a series of these off and on over the next couple of months until we get a good idea of what people want to do, and then finalize a solid game plan and head that direction. All right, John, I'll hand it back to you, see who else is out there, and it's, of course, great hearing Mike in there, knowing him since my high school days. W8EZT, back to that.
Okay, Frank, very good. Yeah, that will be interesting. See what ideas people come up with. And I keep forgetting to correspond with. I have the call sign in my notes here. Tuesday evening, 9 o'clock net that I check into. I've been checking into that for like 30 years. The repeater is in Lisbon, but it has various inputs that it uses a voter system, and I think that the one that picks me up is in West Point. So I'm not sure what they use to connect those various inputs to the main repeater there. So I'm gonna try to find that out before the meeting on Wednesday. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
K8PU?
K8PU, good evening, Larry. What's going on over there?
Oh, it's kind of dark and rainy on Oakwood Drive. You can't get the 85 and sunny out tonight. Getting online here, you remind me of the Hamfest. I got to go on and sign up there. I do the set up and tear down, but I do the VE session at Saturday, so that's what I do there. Got to get on and sign up. You guys talking about the repeaters. I remember back in about 1978, not too long after I got my license, and of course everything, 2 meters was really quite the thing, the repeaters and everything. 0464 here in town was just night and day going solid. There wasn't as many of them, so, you know, you got heavy use. But some guy in West Virginia, I'll have to dig out my logbook and see if I put that down. I should have. Had a tower up on an 800, or an antenna up on an 800-foot tower or something. His name's on a mountain or something. But there was some propagation going on. But one time, we worked 5 states and Canada simplexing on that repeater. It was just awesome. I don't mean like California or something like that. It was, you know, Ohio and Pennsylvania, Michigan, so on, close states, New York. But that was really something. And once in a while, we went at simplex. We couldn't get into Grand Island up at Niagara Falls and things like that. So it was a lot of fun, and that was, you know, that's when I was still a tech. Anyway, John, I'll let you get on with it here, and see you guys Wednesday evening. I'll save you a seat. Back to you, John. WPV, KPU.
Okay, Larry, very good. Yeah, save me a seat. Well, we'll see what time I get there. Let's see. When I lived in Pennsylvania, sometimes I would travel to Gaithersburg, Maryland, and there's some linked repeaters where I could talk with my brother who lives in Carnegie, Pennsylvania. When I was on Interstate 70 down there by Gaithersburg, Maryland, and so it worked very well. Now it's not linked out this way any, but it was linked to the east. So, and up over the mountains. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun back then. Okay, Larry, thanks for checking in, 73, and I'll see you on Wednesday. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with WO3X, name here is John, at the microphone, asking for check-ins.
Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, asking for check-ins.
N8RKA.
N8RKA. Good evening. What's going on there?
Not much at all, John. Just recovering from when I was in the hospital.
Yeah, what was going on there?
I had my appendix taken out.
Oh, okay. Well, I imagine that's no fun at all, but, well, that's one less thing to have to worry about now, you know, if you get a pain in that area, you know. Over?
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, there were a couple of times my wife didn't know if she had that or not, so, you know, we took her and got her checked, and it was not that.
Boy, that's being lucky.
Yeah, but it gradually went away. It was a spasm or something. So how you doing now then?
I'm doing better.
Okay, well, it's good hearing you here on the radio here. You got a good signal on 6 meters. Over.
Alrighty then, so we'll let you get, yeah, no problem, John, so we'll let you get back to what you're doing there, so we'll say 7-3s to you, N8RKA.
Okay, Artie, good to hear from you there. 73, have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, asking for check-ins. Okay, I don't hear any check-ins at this time. I'll repeat the announcements and then give one last call for check-ins after the announcements. Okay, so this Wednesday, that's March 8th, is our business meeting, but it will mostly be an activity meeting, which will be a presentation by Frank W8EZT about our repeaters, and it will be like a question and answer thing, or we'll be taking suggestions about what people would like to see with the repeaters. And that will be at it will be on Zoom, and it will also be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard. And you get to the parking lot by going south off of Broad Boulevard on 2nd Street. Okay, and then on Saturday, March 18th, is a volunteer exam session at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. That starts, the testing starts at 10:30 a.m. So be there before that, and make sure if you want to take a test that you go to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club website at www.cfarc.org, and scroll down, click on education, and then scroll down the page, and in the middle is a yellow background rectangle that has blue writing that says register for a license exam. And make sure you have your federal registration number, the FRN, and make sure you pre-register for that. No walk-ins. Okay, and then March 22nd is going to be a presentation by Anthony, K-A-Z-T, 10 meters for all. But don't wait for the presentation to do communications on 10 meters. And then, as Jim WA3JAT mentioned about a half hour ago, that 6 meters is also coming up. So get on there and work the 10 meters and 6 meters. Okay, then April 12th is our business meeting, and we'll probably have some activity along with that too. We'll be talking about the Hamfest, which on April 14th, Friday, we need volunteers to help with the setup of the tables and chairs. And also some vendors come in and set up, and so if you're a volunteer there helping with the tables and chairs, you can maybe work out a deal with one of the vendors there and buy something before the Hamfest starts on Saturday. And then on Saturday we need volunteers also, so especially in the morning. So go to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club website and click on Hamfest information, and then scroll down to there's when you click on that Hamfest information that's at the top of the page, you scroll down and it has about the Hamfest on the left side, has the date and time. On the right is a map, but if you continue scrolling down, on the left side of the page is a sign-up form to help at the Hamfest. You click on that, you put your last name, first name, call sign, and email address. Click on next at the bottom, and then there's choices for days and times for volunteers. And then below that is the activities that you would be doing as a volunteer. So please check that out and make your plans and make your selections on there. Okay, then April 26th is a presentation, and that will be a Zoom presentation, but we will be having it displayed at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ also. And that presentation will be rocketry and ham radio. So that's going to be a very fun presentation. That's all that I have in the way of announcements at this time. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with WO3X. Name here's John at the microphone, calling for last call for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, I'm not hearing any further check-ins. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. As mentioned earlier, the Band Exploration Net meets every Monday at 9:30 p.m. local time. Next week, the frequency will be 28.360 megahertz upper sideband. Please feel free to check in regularly, even if only for a moment. All comments are welcomed and valuable to us. This has been John, and my call is WO3X.
and it has been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net and return the frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 10:05 p.m. local time with 8 check-ins counting myself. 73.
Good night for nets. Thanks for doing it, John. Have a good evening and catch you Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll see you Wednesday. How many did we have on the VHF UHF net?
22, 30 altogether.
Okay, great, thanks. I'll see you Wednesday. This is WO3X. I'm clear.
7-3, and OQP.
Hello. I like the way he laughs. That's funny as hell. You're pretty damn close.
Push him. Yeah, it don't take much to get him wound up, does it?
Heck no. That
the New World Order crew is having a big fight. They know what their engine.
Just getting back in the radio after being on for 10 years or so. 7-3, see you later, Rex. WB5OZZ and the rest of the crew.
Dr. John and Don, they're friends of mine. I call them friends. I reckon they are. But this is the radio. This is the 7300 I won down at Dawson.
Yeah. Crap for being there. Well, that's true too. But I could try.
I've been rode the trash can out to the road and put stuff up and took some back.
They do, and then you can see it with your own eyes, and then you can design.
Roundtable, I will listen. K6CJA over to VWS, I guess.
That's why the VX7R was so popular. It was actually a quad band.
It only did 1 watt on 220, but 1 watt is around a 220 repeater, which you could hit from Akron with it, was pretty good. With, on what? I'd have to go find one of them radios upstairs. I don't think the T3DR or any of them are wide-banded. I don't know about the VX8R. I'd have to see. If you make me go outside in the frickin'... I let the dog out for 10 minutes. She was soaked. It is pouring out. Hey, can you send me, did you send me a link to that splitter you bought, John?
No, I didn't send you one. It's, I'd have to go to my email.
No, you ain't got to do that. Do whatever you're doing.
Go to my email anyway, see if they ship it.
Jeffy.
Yo.
So they make one of them mounts, but not for a monitor, but for a radio shelf, and it's a plate, so it has a front bent end and 2 side bent pieces and a back piece that you would set your radio in, and it's a mount like that with a big heavy duty thing. You could put that on your bench and mount it, and you can adjust the height up and down, and you can have 3 radios, say 1 in the front, 1 off to the right, 1 off to the left, and stack them all 3. So if you had 3 7300s or your 7300, your 9700, and your 7000, you could put all 3 of them, and you can put them on one mount like that and stack them. That's pretty cool too.
Wow.
Yesterday, I just forwarded you the shipment notification. It's the model number ZSC-4-1 plus.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I got that. Come on now. ZSC40-1 plus, right?
No. ZSC-4-1 plus.
ZS4 yeah.
You drink too much scotch, your brain's rotten. Just read the email.
ZSC4-1 plus. I think that's it, but I'll read the email. And I just poured my first scotch for the day.
Yeah, I'm itching to see how all this little new repeater works. All the reviews of it are awesome.
Did you buy a new repeater?
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, I built the one with I've got the other one that I put together with GMR, GM300. I was struggling with it, and I saw reviews on this little one, and it's so awesome. It's tiny little thing, waterproof. It's portable, so I had to have it. And it came with those 2 orange radios.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so the Tevis RT97. If you see it, look at some of the videos. It's so awesome with the repeater.
Okay, let me see. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to write this down. Zulu Sierra Charlie dash 4-1 plus. Okay. Okay, I got that. What frequency for the GMRS? And then I'm going to take my phone upstairs and I'll call you, but I'll grab my GMRS radio. You know what? They don't. Oh, never mind. I can just hand program it on VX7R. So I would just need the frequency.
Yeah, you could hand program it on a bow thing too. Jesse could do it on his W231. He's too far out now to get there too.
Yeah, so you just have to give me one of your frequencies you want me to hit.
Right now it's on 462.650 with a plus offset, 136.52.
462.650 plus and a 136.5.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I will be right back. Let me go grab that radio. I only poured a little sip of scotch, so I'm going to take another sip.
You checked out one of those waterproof top things, Jesse?
Roger that. Yeah, I got it charging.
That's awesome. We're right here.